Be very surprised if you didn't come equipped with some kind of briefing on Gaelscoil, Chnoc, Liamhna, given that it's been highlighted pretty much in the last week, particularly through parents on the airwaves, and certainly the department was alive to those interventions by parents, because you responded on the airwaves directly actually to one of the requests, which I want to raise as I go on, be alive to. So as a public representative, I was pretty surprised that the department confirmed on the airwaves, the site acquisition issue with South Dublin County Council, and that as a public representative there's been no kind of formal notification in relation to that. So that's pretty appalling. It's pretty appalling communication. Okay. So there is a possibility, given that the site for Gaelscoil, Chnoc, Liamhna has now been acquired. You can confirm that. It was confirmed on radio by your press office.
Yeah, it's been, I don't have the precise legalities on it, but it has made significant progress in the acquisition process.
But the press release said it was acquired.
Yeah.
Is it acquired?
I think and I don't have the immediate detail on that, but there has been a huge amount of engagement with the local authority in relation to that site and working that through. And as far as I know, it has been acquired, but I can come back to the committee definitely.
And in the event that it is acquired, then it's ready to go to stage one.
Well, I suppose what it does mean then is it enables it's a key milestone in terms of the delivery of the project. And
I appreciate that it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what that does then is enable the process to work through in terms of the initial sketching out of the project brief, and working that through. And I suppose in terms of a decision point for the department would be, what's the best delivery mechanism for the likes of that project?
Whether it be rapid or
otherwise.
And you indicated that it might be rapid.
Well, all other things being equal, our experience is that the rapid build programme is the best delivery method for new projects on greenfield sites, unless there's good reason that the site or whatever else is not suitable for that.
And from the moment of site acquisition, notwithstanding any possible impediments that you can't, in terms of whether there's pipes in the ground or utilities or something like that, and if planning permission, which ought to be okay because it's a relatively secure site from a planning application point of view, and I couldn't anticipate any objections to the planning application. Turning the sod, we're now at April 2018. What would the normal timeline for this be in terms of getting to the turning the sod?
Well, I suppose it can depend on the delivery method, but I suppose what Helen, when he was talking about the rapid build programme, just to give you a sense of the delivery timelines in relation to that, and obviously can vary from project to project. And whereas you mentioned that you don't envisage planning objections, that that can arise.
Of course.
And in urban areas, our experience is, you can get planning objections to an appeals to Bord Pleanála in 20% plus of cases. So notwithstanding that, so if one assumes that there's a smooth planning process, then you're typically looking at best case scenario, a 2-year period for the delivery of the project, but probably 3 years is probably more realistic to envisage.
Thanks, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
A straight question: is Gaelscoil, Chnoc, Liamhna to proceed? Is that building project to proceed? And if so, when? And specific answers in relation to communications. In mid-January 2018, an engineer's report was to be submitted to the Building and Planning Department of Education. That hasn't happened. In February, the process of selecting a design team was to begin. That hasn't happened. On March the 9th, according to the Building and Planning section, the report would be submitted. That hasn't happened. On March the 9th, a schedule of accommodation arrived at the school, which was a generic template. for a 16-room primary school and not specific to Gaelscoil, Chnoc, Liamhna. Currently, there's no date for the engineer's report to be submitted, and the timeline that was provided by the department, the Building and Planning section, on the 29th of November 2017 is no longer valid. And despite and in spite of multiple calls, multiple communications from the school, from public representatives, in relation to the timelines committed to by the department when they met with the school, and timelines which you failed to actually meet. Failing to meet it is one issue, but failing to explain why you've missed all those timelines, and to fail to reply in writing or to reply orally leaves a seriously bad taste in the mouth of parents, of principals, and of boards of management.